says my name the way you did, like you were turning it over in your mouth to find the softest side before letting it land. You stretched the middle vowel just long enough for warmth to settle, then clipped the end like you were afraid it might run away. If you gave it too much room, I didn't know a syllable could feel like home, until you built one out of 3 letters and the hush between them. People say it now and it sounds like a stranger borrowing my coat. Nobody says my name the way you did, like it was a secret you were proud to keep. You made it feel chosen, not just inherited. I walk through days answering to a version that sits wrong on the tongue because it never passed through yours first. How you said my name was the gentlest kind of claiming, quiet, certain, impossible to unhear once the room is empty. I tested it once, introduced myself to a barista, and waited for the echo of the way you used to answer. Nothing, just steam and small talk. I've tried teaching friends a small lift. You gave the second syllable, the tiny smile tucked inside the consonant. They tried, bless them, but it falls flat like a song played in the wrong key. Your version was the only one in tune with whatever frequency my heart was broadcasting back then. Sometimes half asleep, I swear I hear it from the other side of the bed, and reach for a body that learned a new language without me. Nobody says my name the way you did, like you were polishing it before handing it back, shining. I've started answering slower to give the silence a chance to shape it correctly, but silence never loved me the way you did. I wonder if you still say it in your sleep, or if someone new has taught you a different melody for the same 3 notes. I hope not. Some names should stay sacred, a private prayer only one mouth was ever meant to speak. Nobody says my name the way you did, and maybe that's the point. Maybe some sounds are only loaned for a season, then return to the air to dissolve like breath on winter glass. I carry the memory of it the way monks carry silence, gently, completely, forever. Thank you for teaching my name, how beautiful it could be loved. Say it again just once, even if only the dark is listening. I saw you through the window of a place we never went. You were laughing at something he whispered low. The light caught the side of your face. the same way you did the morning you left. Only this time you weren't looking for the door. You were looking at him like the room had just begun. I stood there holding someone else's coffee, burning my hand and not feeling a thing. Funny how pain chooses its own temperature. You look happier than ever with him, like peace finally moved into the space I left empty. Your eyes don't search the crowd anymore, they rest, and it's beautiful and it's brutal. I taught you how to smile like that, now he gets to keep it. You look happier than ever, and I'm standing in the ashes of my own prayers, learning how to be grateful while something inside quietly breaks. You cut your hair shorter, the way you always talked about. He runs his fingers through it like it was made for his hands. I almost waved, then remember I'm a stranger now. I almost smiled, then remember it would look like surrender. So I just watch you walk away. You're a step lighter than it ever was with me, like love used to weigh 1,000 pounds and someone finally took it off your shoulders. I wonder if you still drink oat milk lattes. I wonder if he knows you hate being tickled on the left side. I wonder if you ever think of me at all, then hate myself for hoping the answer is yes. You look happier than ever with him, the kind of happy that doesn't need to prove anything. It just exists, quiet and certain, like sunrise after a night you thought would never end. I hope he knows how rare that light is. I hope he never dims it. You look happier than ever, and I'm learning that love sometimes means walking away so someone else can stay. I used to think letting go was failure, now I think it's the bravest kind of winning. If you're blooming where I couldn't water you, then the drought was mine to carry, not yours. You look happier than ever with him, and for the first time I don't wanna ruin it. I just wanna remember how you last sounded, when it wasn't trying to hold everything together. You look happier, and I'm finally learning how to mean it when I say I'm glad. Keep shining love, I'll find my own sun somewhere down the road. There's an 8-hour difference carved between us like a canyon. No bridge remembers how to cross when my alarm drags me into gray Monday light. You're already brushing sleep from your hair on the other side of the world. I drink coffee that tastes like missing you. You sip tea that hasn't met my name yet. We're the same story, being read in 2 different centuries. I save the funniest thing that happens all day. in a note titled "Tell her later." By the time later arrives, the joke has gone stale, and your laughter is already asleep. 8-hour difference is a slow motion goodbye. We keep repeating every single day. I say I love you into a phone that hands it to you 8 hours late, wrapped in yesterday's voice and tomorrow's longing. 8-hour difference turned our forever into a relay race, where only one of us is ever running at a time. You send me photos of Saturday markets while I'm microwaving Friday's leftovers. Your sun is loud and golden, mine is the color of almost gone. I watch your stories on silent, read your lips shaping someone else's morning, and feel like a thief stealing light from a day I haven't earned yet. Sometimes you call when it's 3 a.m. for me, and I answer with a voice made of gravel and warmth, pretending I wasn't dreaming of you anyway. We tried sinking once, I stayed up, you woke early. We met for 20 exhausting minutes in the thin crack between our worlds, and cried because even exhaustion felt like home. 8-hour difference is learning to hold someone with your eyes closed and your heart open across an ocean of unsent goodnights. I fall asleep to the thought of your sunrise, and you wake up to the echo of my moon still hanging in your sky, like a promise I forgot to keep. One day the distance will shrink to the width of a doorstep, or grow to the length of a lifetime. Until then, I keep a second clock on my nightstand, set to your city, just so I can watch the hands move while you live the hours I can only borrow in dreams. 8-hour difference taught me the bravest kind of love, loving someone in a time zone they haven't reached yet. I kiss the dark where your face would be, and trust the earth to carry it forward until your morning finds my mouth still shaped around the same 3 words I said 8 hours ago, and we'll say again 8 hours from now. The planet keeps turning just to bring us a little closer, one slow sunrise at a time. Good night, my love, or good morning. I love you in every tense the clock hasn't invented yet. Your last voicemail is still in my phone. 47 seconds, dated March 14th to 7 a.m. You were laughing at something your dog did voice thick with sleep and cold medicine. You said call me when you land on me. Then a cough, then a soft love you. Like it was the easiest thing in the world. I play it when the apartment gets too quiet. Volume low so the neighbors don't hear me talking back to a ghost. I've memorized the static between your words, the way your lungs made when you tried not to cry, about the test results you hadn't told me yet. These voicemails I can't delete are the only place you still breathe. I keep them like pressed flowers between the glass and the future. 47 seconds of borrowed oxygen looped, a tiny life support machine made of your voice saying my name, the way only the dying and the ones who love them ever really do. I know one day the cloud will eat them, or the phone will die, or I will. Until then I pay the monthly bill just to keep you alive in a folder marked that. There's another one from Christmas Eve. You're singing off key to the dog because the chemo made your fingers too weak for guitar. You left the message half finished, mid-verse of have yourself a merry little Christmas. And I never got the second half. I've tried humming it myself, but my voice cracks on the same note yours did. And I have to stop before the neighbors think someone's being murdered with kindness. I upgraded phones twice and always transferred you first. Before photos, before music, before the rest of my life. These voicemails I can't delete are the only rooms you still walk in. I open the door at 2 a.m. when insomnia wears your face. 47 seconds and the world shrinks back to the size of a hospital bed. And your hand in mine and the lie we both told the next spring would be kinder. People say he's in a better place. They've never heard you laugh at your own terrible jokes. And Dolby Atmos through AirPods at 3% battery. There is no better place than right here, crackling between towers, refusing to fade. These voicemails I can't delete will outlive my passwords, my fingerprints, maybe even my grief. One day a stranger will find this phone in a drawer and hear a man who sounds happy telling someone to call. When they land they'll smile, delete it for storage and never know they just erased the last living piece of my father's voice. Until then I keep paying the bill. I keep you breathing. 47 seconds is long enough to say I love you and mean it forever. Hey, it's me. I landed. I'm calling back. Pick up, dummy. I sleep on my side because your side is still yours. The sheets there stay smooth, a frozen lake no one dares skate across. Some nights I reach out just to measure the cold, palm hovering an inch above the fabric, like checking if a flame has really gone out. It has, it always has. But the shape of you lingers, the way moonlight lingers on snow long after the moon is gone. I bought new pillows and threw them away the same week. They didn't know how to hold my head the way your absence does. Your side of the bed is the most honest place in the apartment. It doesn't pretend morning is coming. It doesn't flinch when I cry into my own shoulder. I keep the window cracked on your half so the breeze can move the curtain the way your breathing used to. Your side of the bed. It's a museum after closing time. Everything perfectly preserved, nothing allowed to touch. I pay rent for two and live alone. There's still one of your hairs curled on the pillowcase like a question mark. I haven't washed it in 14 months. I tell myself it's laziness, we both know better. Sometimes I lie on your side just to feel what small feels like. The mattress sighs, relieved to be useful again, then remembers and goes quiet. The alarm clock still blinks 3:12 because you died at 3:12, and I never learned how to reset time after it broke. Your side of the bed is where I go to practice missing you out loud. I whisper conversations we'll never finish into the dark that smells faintly of the cedar candle you loved, and I hate it less now. Your side of the bed has become a shoreline, and I'm the tide coming back every night to leave something behind. Whatever pieces of me haven't washed away yet. One morning I'll wake up in the middle, and it won't feel like treason. One morning the sheets will be warm on both sides because I finally rolled over in my sleep and forgave myself for needing all the space to hold what's left of you. Your side of the bed is getting softer. The cold isn't sharp anymore, it's just familiar. I don't reach across as often. When I do, my hand lands on tomorrow instead of yesterday. Your side of the bed will always be yours, but tonight I'm gonna let the blanket stretch all the way to the edge and pretend the extra warmth is you finally coming home in a different way. Good night, love, I'll see you on my side when I'm ready. We said see you soon, on FaceTime. Your face pixelated by airport Wi-Fi. You were holding back tears with that half smile you wear when you're trying to be brave for both of us. The gate agent called your roll. Your camera shook as you stood, and for one frozen second the screen showed the ceiling lights behind you. Like a constellation we hadn't named yet, I told you to go. Voice steady the way luggage wheels pretend to be on cracked linoleum. You blew a kiss that landed 8 hours late on a cheek already learning the temperature of alone. 4 days since that FaceTime goodbye, and the call still lives in my recent list like a bookmark in a book I can't finish. I open it sometimes when the silence gets loud, watch the frozen frame of your waving hand, and pretend the buffering wheel is the world trying to bring you back online. We said see you soon, like soon was a place you could fly to, with a boarding pass and a promise for 9 days. And soon it's still loading. Your last message is a voice note saying I made it. The flat's small, but the light is good. I play it when my light feels wrong. Let your excitement fill the rooms you never saw. I tried calling once at 3 a.m. my time, your time, too early for apologies. It rang out to voicemail, and I hung up before the beep. Because some things are heavier than satellites can carry. The thumbnail of you in that airport is the only photo I haven't cropped or filtered or hidden in a folder called later. 9 days since that FaceTime goodbye, and I still flinch when the notification sound is anything but your name. I keep the app updated, like keeping a porch light on for a train that changed its route. We said see you soon, the way children say when I grow up. Believing time is something you can outrun if you just love hard enough. One day the call will disappear from the recents, pushed down by new names, new almost. One day I'll delete it the way you delete a city from your weather app, when you finally admit you're not going back. Until then, it stays a small blue icon, holding the last moment your face was close enough to touch, through glass and distance and the thin lie of soon. 419 days and counting, the FaceTime goodbye taught me that some doors close in slow motion, one pixel at a time. I still say see you soon to the dark sometimes, practice it like a prayer for a God who moved and forgot to leave a forwarding address for 9 days. And I'm learning how to hang up without letting go. Call me when you land, love, I'm still here. The light is good. I saved you the better side of the bed. They played our song in the grocery store, right between the cereal and the canned tomatoes. It drifted down from the ceiling like a memory that forgot it wasn't welcome. I was reaching for the same brand of soup you used to warm when I was sick, and the first piano note hit me so cleanly. I dropped the can, it rolled under the shelf like it was trying to hide from what came next. The melody knew exactly where to press. It found the bruise I'd been pretending wasn't tender. They played our song in the grocery store, and I left a full cart in aisle 9. Milk, eggs, bread, all abandoned, like a life I couldn't finish shopping for. I walked past the registers without looking up, past the teenage cashier who will never know why a grown man suddenly needed air more than dinner. Our song, 3 minutes and 12 seconds of perfectly preserved heartbreak, piped in at safe public volume, so no one else had to bleed. I made it to the parking lot before the chorus arrived. Sat in the driver's seat with the door open, key still in my pocket, let in the cold bite. Because pain on the outside felt fairer than the kind on the inside. A mother loaded groceries beside me, her kids singing along to the exact same bridge we slow danced to. The night I thought forever was a reasonable request. He got the words wrong, I envied him. I waited for the song to end, the way sailors wait for storms to pass over the bow. The next track was something upbeat about summer. I laughed once, short cracked the sound of a man realizing the world keeps spinning even when your needle is stuck. They played our song in the grocery store, and I paid for it with an entire evening I'll never get back. I drove home without the soup, without the milk, with a cart-shaped hole in the middle of my chest. Some melodies are landmines disguised as background noise. You can live a whole life avoiding the field and still step on one between pasta sauces and toilet paper. I haven't been back to that store. I shop at night now, smaller places where the speakers only play jazz. Nobody ever fell in love too safer that way, but sometimes in the quiet of my kitchen I hum the first 4 notes just to prove I'm still breathing. After the explosion, they played our song in the grocery store, and I finally understood. Some things are louder when everyone else can't hear them scream. I left the cart, but I took the song with me, folded small, pressed between the ribs, a receipt for a life I paid for and walked away from all at once. Thank you, aisle 9. I needed the reminder that healing sometimes looks like an abandoned shopping cart and a man learning how to leave without making a scene. Every Friday at 7 we meet at the same Italian place. Red checkered tablecloths, candles stuck in an old chime tea bottle. You sit on the left, I sit on the right, and between us always the empty chair. You talk about your week, I nod, pour more wine, while the silence in that chair grows another year older. The waiter stopped asking party of two. He just brings 3 sets of cutlery and quietly removes the third. You say, isn't this nice, just us? And I smile like a man who hasn't spent 6 years learning how to breathe around a ghost. It's always table for 3, even when only 2 of us show up. I order for the space you used to fill, extra parmesan, no anchovies, and pretend the plate isn't cold before it even arrives. Table for 3, me, you, and the words I keep folded in the napkin under my hand. One day the chair will stop waiting. Tonight it still pulls itself out when you laugh. Last month you brought up the new guy, how he hates olives, loves jazz, makes you feel seen. I watched the candle flicker and wondered if flames get jealous when someone else warms the room. You asked if I'm seeing anyone, I said not really, which is the politest way to say I'm fully booked by a reservation I can't cancel. You reached across the table to steal a piece of my fries, the way you've done since we were 19. Your fingers brushed mine and the chair creaked like it remembered how your hand used to fit there instead of here. It's always table for 3, even when the menu changes. I still ask for the corner booth because the light hits your face the same as it did the night I almost said it. Table for 3, where I practice being happy for you until the muscles in my cheeks learn the shape permanently. One day I'll stop hearing the scrape of that invisible chair when you lean in to tell me a secret. Maybe next year I'll pick a different restaurant, sit with my back to the wall, order for 1 and let the waiter keep the extra setting. Maybe I'll keep coming until the candle burns down and the wax covers the place where your name was never spoken aloud. Either way, the bill always comes and I always pay for 3. It's always table for 3 until it isn't. Tonight the candle is shorter, the wine is cheaper, and you're glowing the way people do when they're finally sitting at the right table. I raise my glass to the empty chair and drink to its health one last time. Table for 3 is becoming table for 2, and I'm learning how to leave a tip for the quietest guest I ever loved. Check please, keep the change. In the chair I won't need it anymore. Skyline used to feel like a promise. The towers lit up like matches we hadn't struck yet. Now they lean together, drunk on their own reflection, smearing gold across the river like spilled champagne. I'm parked on the overpass, engine off, watching the city breathe without us. Every pulse a red brake light, feels like a heartbeat, skipping your name. The windows fog with things I never told you. I draw a small heart, then erase it, like practicing how to disappear. City lights are blurring the night, running mascara down the face of the dark. I'm trying to read the signs, but they're crying too hard. Every glow is a maybe, every shadow is a scar. City lights are blurring the way your eyes did when you lied and said I'll be fine. They're still lying, and so am I. There's a billboard with a couple kissing under string lights. I hate how happy they look in 4K. I hate that I slow down to stare. The radio plays a song we skipped the first time. Now I let it finish, note by bitter note, like swallowing glass wrapped in velvet. Downtown smells like wet concrete and your old cologne. Memory has a cruel sense of smell. I almost call you just to hear the voicemail that still says, hey, it's us. But I hang up at the beep. Some ghosts are kinder when they stay quiet. City lights are blurring the night, turning the whole horizon into watercolor regret. I'm driving through a painting that hasn't dried yet. Every street lamp is a street lamp we stood under once. City lights are blurring, and I'm not sure if it's rain on the glass or tears on the inside. Probably both, probably always will be. If I keep driving long enough, maybe the map will forget where you live. Maybe the moon will trade places with the sun, and I'll finally outrun this hour. But the city keeps spinning its soft neon lullaby, telling me to pull over, telling me some wounds only glow in the dark. City lights are blurring, they look like the night you left, all color bleeding into one long goodbye. I turn the headlights off, let the dark teach me your shape one last time. City lights are blurring, and for once I don't try to clear the view. Keep blurring, baby, I'm not ready to see straight again. Used to wear the same perfume. 10 years later it still finds me. Before your face does, it drifted across the bookstore cafe like a postcard from a country I was deported from without warning. One breath and I was 26 again, standing in your hallway while you sprayed your wrist and laughed about being late for a movie we'd never see, because we couldn't stop kissing against the door. Scent is the cruelest time machine. No ticket, no warning, just sudden arrival in a body that no longer belongs there. You smell the same, and the room tilted 10 degrees toward a life we closed the door on. Everything else had changed. Your hair shorter, your laugh a little lower, the way you held your cup with both hands now, like you learned to be careful with warm things. But the perfume was a stubborn country that refused to redraw its borders. You smelled the same, and I almost said your name, the way I used to when it still lived in my mouth, like a prayer I believed in. Tables away, reading something with a blue cover, sunlight doing the thing you used to do. Across your collarbone I watched the steam from your tea curl like it remembered my fingers. You looked up once, I scanning the room the way people do when they feel a ghost breathing on the back of their neck. Our gazes brushed, not quite meeting, not quite avoiding, and the perfume wrapped around my throat like a scarf I wasn't allowed to keep. I paid for a coffee I didn't drink and left before the scent could follow me home and ruin another night. You smell the same, and it was proof that some things outrun us. No matter how fast we walk away, the rest of you had moved on beautifully, gracefully. But that small cloud of cedar and vanilla was still loyal to a version of us that died quietly in a hallway. 10 years ago you smelled the same, and I almost waved like a man waving at his own grave from the wrong side of the glass. I hope he knows what it means when you wear that scent on ordinary Tuesdays. I hope he understands he's breathing in a love letter written by somebody else's younger heart. I hope it keeps you warm the way it once kept Steve. You smelled the same, and for 3 full seconds I was forgiven for everything I broke. Then the moment passed, the perfume thin, and I walked out into a city that had finally learned my new name. You smell the same. Thank you for the small mercy of not changing, the one thing I was never strong enough to let go of. Cedar, vanilla, a trace of rain. I still carry you in the lining of every coat I own. You posted a picture last night, candlelight soft on the curve of your cheek. He's half out of frame, but his arm claims the rest of the space like he owns gravity. You're smiling the smile I used to chase across 3 states, the one that started small in the left corner, spilled slow like honey deciding to fall. I know every millimeter of that journey. I measured it in heartbeats once. I zoom in until the pixels bruise, just to check if your eyes still crinkle the same. When the smile is real, they do. That's what finishes me. Keep smiling for the camera, baby. You finally learned how to mean it. I was the rough draft, the shaky rehearsal, the nights you practiced in the mirror while I pretended to sleep. Now every flash catches the finished version, polished, effortless, cruel in its ease. Smile for the camera, baby. I taught you that curve and you gave it away for free. The comments say you look so happy. Little red hearts raining like confetti on a grave. I wanna write, he doesn't know that smile took 3 years and 2 breakdowns to perfect. He wasn't there for the dress rehearsals when it cracked in the middle and you cried because it still felt borrowed. He just walked in on opening night and took the bow I paid for in blood. I liked it, then unliked it, and stared at the empty space where my name used to be, until the screen went black and showed me my own reflection, looking like someone who lost in his own house. Keep smiling for the camera, baby. It suits you better than my hands ever did. I was the dark room, he's the daylight you always deserved. Every photo is proof that some people are only meant to develop the picture, not live inside the frame. One day the algorithm will stop punishing me, and your face will drift down the feed like a leaf I no longer reach for. Until then I keep scrolling past sunsets just to watch you glow in someone else's sunrise. Smile for the camera, baby. I'm proud of you and ruined by it in the same breath. You finally look like the version of yourself I always knew was hiding behind my shadow. Thank you for stepping into the light. I'll stay here learning how to live with the after image burn on the inside of my eyelids. Keep smiling, I'll teach myself to look away eventually. If I could go back to December, I'd stand in the snow outside your door. Instead of driving away with the radio too loud, you were wearing that gray sweater, the one with the hole at the cuff. Your thumb kept worrying like it could fix more than wool. I told you I needed space and watch your face folding on itself the way paper does when it realizes it's about to be thrown away. I thought freedom tasted like open road. It tasted like ash in the cold side of the bed. If I could go back to December, I'd never let you leave the porch light on for no one. I'd swallow every sharp word I dressed up as honesty and trade them for the soft ones I was too afraid to wear. I'd hold you in the driveway until the snow forgave us both for thinking love could survive on pride alone. If I could go back to December, I'd stay. I heard you moved on in April, someone who doesn't make you beg for warmth. I saw the picture, your smile looks lighter now, like someone finally opened the window in a room I kept too dark. I don't blame you, I blame the version of me who thought being right was warmer than being with you on a night the world was white and quiet and begging us listen. I still drive past your old house sometimes. The new owners painted the door red, it used to be blue. Everything changes except the way December feels when it finds me unprepared. If I could go back to December, I'd tell you all the things I rehearsed in the car on the way home that night but never said out loud. I'd say I was scared, not cold. I'd say your hands were the only place I ever felt safe enough to fall apart. I let the snow pile up on the windshield until morning, just to have one more hour of you believing I was better than I was. Time doesn't go backwards, but memory does. It takes me there every year when the air turns sharp and the lights on the neighbors' houses look like the ones we never hung together. I stand in my own driveway now and whisper sorry to the dark, hoping the wind carries it to whatever December you're living in. If I could go back to December, I'd never let you go. But I can't, so I'll carry the cold like a coat I refuse to take off until it teaches me how to be warm for someone else, the way I never was for you. If I could go back to December, I'd stay, I'd stay. I'm sorry, love. The snow remembers. I always will. We still set a chair at the table, the one with the wobble you always fixed with a folded coaster. Mom puts the plate down gently, like she's afraid the porcelain will bruise. Nobody sits there, the napkin stays folded, the glass stays empty, but the space is occupied by the shape of you. We all learn to walk around without touching. Dad says grace a little longer now, as if extra words might stretch across the miles and find you still breathing. There's a chair at the table that no one sits in anymore. It holds the light differently, catches the sun in a way the others don't, like it's trying to keep your outline warm. We pass the potatoes clockwise and pretend the circle isn't broken. A chair at the table with your name carved underneath an 8-year-old handwriting. No one has the heart to sand away. Thanksgiving smells the same, cinnamon and sage and something burning quietly. Your niece asks why Aunt Lena's seat is empty, and we say she's eating with the angels tonight. She's not satisfied, takes an extra roll for you anyway, and sets it on the plate like an offering to a God who stopped answering. Watch the butter melt untouched and think about how grief is just love with nowhere left to go. Mom still cooks for 5, then wraps the leftovers in foil swans, the way you taught her. There's a chair at the table that creaks when the heat comes on, as if it remembers your weight and refuses to forget. We talk around it, over it, never to it, but every story still bends toward the empty space, like flowers toward a window that hasn't opened in 3 years. Sometimes late, I pull the chair out and sit opposite me, just to see what conversation looks like. When one side doesn't answer, I tell you about the new job, the dog, how mom's hair went white overnight. The silence listens better than most people ever tease. There's a chair at the table, and one day we'll stop setting the plate. Maybe next Christmas, maybe never. Until then it keeps its vigil, quiet, stubborn. A wooden lighthouse on a shore where you never came home. We eat around the missing the way planets orbit. A star that burned out, but still pulls everything into its old perfect circle. Save me a seat wherever you are. I'll be the one still passing the salt to the empty air beside me. Saw you in Whole Foods aisle 7 with a ring and a kid, reaching for the organic strawberries, like the world had agreed to be gentle with you. You were kneeling down, wiping juice from his chin with the sleeve of a sweater. I didn't recognize the overhead lights, made everything too bright, too real. Your hair shorter, your smile wider, the kind that doesn't need rescuing anymore. I stood frozen by the gluten-free pasta, holding a box of something I didn't need, pretending to read the ingredients while my heart read the years between us. Saw you in Whole Foods aisle 7, and the distance felt like a lifetime, compressed into fluorescent hum. You looked like a story that finally found its happy ending in someone else's chapter. The ring caught the light the way your eyes used to catch mine, when we still believed we were the whole book. I wanted to say hello, but some greetings are heavier than groceries, and I was already carrying too much. Your little boy pointed at the cartoon in my box, asked if the dinosaur was friendly. You laughed, that same low, easy sound I used to keep in my pocket for bad days, and told him yes, some dinosaurs are kind, even when they're extinct. I almost smiled, almost. Then you looked up, our eyes met for half a second, and the air turned thick with everything we never said after the last time. You nodded, small and polite, the way you nodded neighbors you don't really know. I nodded back the way you nodded ghosts you're trying to forgive. Saw you in Whole Foods aisle 7, and I realized some people get to keep the life we only borrowed. You look peaceful in a way I never managed, when peace still lived with us. The kid tugged your hand, ready for the next aisle, the next ordinary miracle. I stayed rooted between quinoa and regret. watching you walk away, lighter than you ever were with me. I hope the ring fits on cold mornings. I hope the kid asks questions you always know how to answer. I hope the strawberries are always sweet and the sweater never needs mending in the places I told. Saw you in Whole Foods aisle 7 and didn't feel the old knife twist. Just a quiet click like a door finally closing without slamming. You looked happy, and happy looked good on you, the way you never quite did when it was trying to include me. I put the box back on the shelf, walked out empty-handed. And for the first time it felt like enough. I 7. Thank you for the soft landing. Be well loved. The world kept its promise to you. Boulevards asleep, but the signs still burn, pink and bleeding into the wet asphalt turn. I roll the windows down just to feel something cold, 'cause the air in here still carries you 3 months old. Palm trees sway like they're trying to wave goodbye. I passed the diner where we split the last fries. The waitress probably thinks I'm insane. Same booze, same black coffee, same quiet pain. Every song on the radio knows your name. They play it softer when the night feels too loud. I mouth the words I never got to say, while the city pretends it's not watching me drown. It's 3 AM on Sunset, and I still take the long way home, just to feel a little less alone. The streetlights blur like watercolors left in the rain. Every mile is a maybe you're still awake. I'm chasing taillights that look like your eyes, talking to the dark like it might reply. 3 AM on Sunset, the hour that never lies. I'm still in love with you, and the city knows why. There's the rooftop where we watch the 4th of July. You wore my hoodie, I wore your sky. We said forever tasted like cheap champagne. Now forever's just this loop I can't break. The Hollywood sun stares down like a ghost, laughing at promises we believe the most. I laugh back sometimes, cracked and hollow. Sounds like a man who forgot how to swallow. The dashboard clock blinks like it's counting heartbeats I lost. I turn the music up so the silence can't talk. It's 3 AM on Sunset, and I still take the long way home, just to stretch the night a little more. The skyline's holding its breath with me, waiting for a text that'll never come. I'm tracing the cracks in the windshield glass like they're maps back to the nights that didn't last. 3 AM on Sunset, where the lonely come to confess I'm still in love with you. And tomorrow I'll pretend I'm past this. One day these streets won't feel like a bruise. One day the dawn won't taste like you. But tonight the moon's wearing your perfume, and I'm too weak to drive anywhere new. It's 3 a.m. on Sunset, and I finally take the turn toward a house that learned to sleep without you. The engine quiets, the lights go dim. I sit in the driveway, breathing you out, breathing me in. 3 a.m. on Sunset. Thank you for the aid. I think I needed one last slow dance with the ghost we made. Good night, Los Angeles. Good night, old me. I'll see you both when the sun comes back to bleed.
You leave me on red at 11:11 every single night without fail. 3 gray ticks glow like tiny moons. I keep wishing on knowing they won't fall. I type paragraphs that shrink to single words, then delete them all before they land. The keyboard becomes a confessional where sins dissolve in a backspace and seen the cruelest four-letter word in any language I've ever learned. Red receipts are the new ghosting, soft blue torture in a paper-thin screen. You let me know you were there, then vanish like breath on winter glass. I count the minutes between your thumbs and my heartbeat, finding new ways to lose. Red receipts, you leave the door open just wide enough for the cold to walk in and sit on my chest until morning. Last week you replied with a single heart, red and pulsing for half a second before it turned to smoke. I stared at it so long, the color bled into my dreams. Now I send you songs at 2 a.m. Little bottles with no message inside, just the sound of me trying not to drown you. Open every one and never throw a rope. I wonder if you keep the notifications on just to watch me orbit like a moth that learned fire is safer than the dark. Red receipts, a mercy dressed as cruelty, a hand that waves instead of reaching. I refresh the chat until the way gamblers pull levers, hoping this time the silence pays out. You're asleep 3 miles away with your phone face down, and I'm wide awake, learning the exact weight of being seen and still invisible. One day I'll turn them off, I'll stop believing breadcrumbs for a trail you never follow. I'll let the messages sit undelivered like letters returned to sender, because the house burned down and no one told the mailman. Until then I keep making wishes at 11:11 on 3 gray moons that never fall. Red receipts, thank you for teaching me how loud quiet can be. I finally understand understand why lighthouses don't chase ships. They just blink and blink and blink until the storm decides whether to come home or keep sailing. I'm turning the light off tonight. If you ever look up and notice the dark, you'll know where to find me. Delivered, seen, gone. Delivered, seen, gone, gone. We said hi like strangers on the corner of 9th and Pine. Late October wind pushing leaves between the small space where our history used to stand. You wore the navy coat I once kept in my closet for nights you forgot yours. It looked better on you now, loser, like you'd grown into the room. I always kept too tight, your voice was polite, a careful handshake instead of the full body collision it used to be. 3 seconds of eye contact felt like 3 years compressed into a blink. We said hi like strangers, and it killed me more than goodbye ever did. No yelling, no tears, just 2 people who once knew every inch of each other, pretending the map had been erased. Your smile was small and perfect, a closed door with soft lighting behind it. I smiled back the way you smile at old scars, recognition without wanting to touch. You asked how I'd been, I said good, the word tasting like paper. You said you moved downtown, new job, new plants, new quiet mornings. I nodded like someone hearing the weather report for a country he no longer lives in. A bus roared past, drowning the silence we were both feeding. And for a moment I thought maybe the noise would swallow us before the awkwardness could finish its meal. Your hair smelled the same 10 years, and the city hadn't managed to wash you out. We said hi like strangers, and the street kept moving around us like water around 2 stones that used to be the same mountain. You shifted your back higher on your shoulder, the small gesture I once kissed. When it slipped, I almost reached to fix it. Some reflexes are fossils now. You said take care, saw a final, a period at the end of a sentence. We started writing when we were 19 and fearless. I said you too and meant it more than I've meant anything. We said hi like strangers and walked separate directions without looking back. No drama, no cinematic rain, just 2 people who once set the world on fire, learning how to pass without burning. It hurt clean the way a healed wound hurts
When the weather changes, a quiet reminder that some things close gently and still leave the shade of themselves behind. Take care, goodbye, without the word thank you, for the softest knife I never saw coming. I still can't order a vanilla latte without tasting the ghost of your voice, saying it first, soft and certain, like it was the simplest thing in the world. The barista waits, pen hovering over the cup, and I stand there frozen in the small silence where your name used to fit perfectly. Between grande and oat milk, I end up mumbling black, no sugar, the way I drank it before you taught my tongue to crave sweetness. They spell my name wrong on this sleeve now. It used to be yours. They got right every time. I still can't order a vanilla latte without the room tilting a little to the left, the exact angle your head used to rest on my shoulder in the corner booth. It's just coffee for words, 2 syrup pumps, but it carries the weight of every Sunday morning we spent pretending the world started, when the cup was half empty and your hand was half full of mine. I tried once, stood in line like a man approaching a confessional, whispered the order like it might summon you from the steam. The first sip burned not from heat, but from memory, the way you'd steal the foam with your thumb and dot it on my nose when you thought I wasn't looking. I left half the cup on the table, watched it cool into a small abandoned lake, reflecting a ceiling I no longer recognize without your laugh bouncing off it. Some habits are harder to break than hearts. This one just tastes sweeter. I still can't order a vanilla latte without hearing the echo of a yes. When I asked if you wanted the usual, the barista hands me black coffee now. No questions, like she understands. Some drinks are cemeteries for things we can't bury anywhere else. One day the words will come out clean, no tremor, no aftertaste of you. One day I'll taste vanilla and only think of the bean, not the way your eyes soften when the sweetness hit your tongue. Until then, I drink it bitter, let the burn remind me I'm still capable of feeling something strong enough to hurt. I still can't order a vanilla latte, but I'm learning learn to sit with the ache instead of running from the counter. Some ghosts prefer espresso bars to graveyards. They linger in the milk steam, in the hum of the grinder, in the small mercy of a stranger who doesn't know why I always pay for a drink I never finish. Grande vanilla o latte, extra foam for here. No name on the cup this time.
I came back for the 10-year reunion, but really just to walk the hallway one more time. The fluorescent lights still hum the same tired hymn, tiles still cracked in the shape of that spilled Mountain Dew from junior year. Locker 24 is painted over now, fresh navy blue like nothing ever happened. But I can still see the dent your biology book left when you slammed it the day we fought about college. I pressed my palm to the metal. It's cold, you were always warm. No one else stops here. They're all taking selfies by the trophy case. I'm taking inventory of ghosts. Locker 204 you keep, the only version of me that still knew how to believe. I spin the combination out of muscle memory, and half expect it to click open on a folded note that says meet me after 7th period. I'm sorry, but the lock is new, and the boy who knew those numbers is a stranger wearing my face. Locker 204, you're a museum of almost, and I'm the only visitor who still pays admission in chest pain. They turned the band room into a yoga studio, the vending machine that ate my last dollar the night you kissed me now sells kombucha. Everything is cleaner, quieter, like the school itself went to therapy and learned how to move on. I stand where your locker used to be and try to remember the exact shade of your eyes when the sunlight hit them through the window at 2:17 p.m. I can't. That's the first time I cry in public in 10 years. A kid walks by in AirPods, doesn't even glance at the man talking to a wall. I envy how easy disappearing is when you're still becoming. Locker 204, I left a piece of my lung in your vents, and I've been breathing shallow ever since. I thought growing up meant getting wiser, turns out it just means getting better at pretending the hallways don't still smell like your coconut shampoo every first day of September. If I could open you one more time, I'd take back the mixtape of ticket stuff from our first concert, the Polaroid where we're both mid-laugh, and the future still looked like a promise. Instead of a punishment, I'd leave a note instead. Thank you for letting me be the best almost I ever had. Locker 204, they can repaint you 1,000 times, and I'll still see the heart I
it's faded now, but outlines don't need color to cut. I walk away without looking back the way I couldn't the last day of senior year. This time I leave the combination broken, so no one else ever has to learn it the hard way. 22/9/31. Click. Nothing good. Some doors were only meant to open once.
Had a dimple on the left when you really smiled. Not the polite one you gave strangers, but the one that arrived late and stayed longer than it was invited. It showed up only when something caught you off guard. A small indent in the armor you wore so well most days. I lived for that dimple. Chased it across rooms with bad jokes and gentle teasing. Anything to watch the left side of your face. Give away the secret that you were happier than you let on. I never told you I measured whole evenings by how deep it went. That left dimple is the last honest thing I still own about you. I close my eyes and it appears a tiny crater on the moon of your cheek, where I once landed safely years later. I catch myself searching faces in crowds for that same small betrayal of joy. None of them fall quite like yours did. Symmetrical, unapologetic, a quiet rebellion against the evenness you try to keep when things got hard. I saw you last spring at the market, basket full of peaches and sunlight. You were laughing at something he said, and there it was. The dimple, deeper now, well practiced. It didn't hesitate the way it used to with me. I stood between stalls of flowers and felt the years collapse into one soft indent I no longer had the right to touch. You didn't see me good. Some relics are kinder when left undisturbed. I almost smiled back at the space where you stood. Muscle memory being cruel again. That left impulse still shows up in dreams uninvited, carrying the full weight of every moment you were truly unguardedly mine. I wake up reaching for the left side of nothing, fingers chasing air that once held the shape of your happiness. It was never symmetrical love. Always a little more on the left, always a little more yours than I deserved. I hope he knows what it means when that dimple appears. I hope he spends his life trying to earn it the way I stopped trying too soon. Some small things outlast the largest promises. A dimple is just a place where joy decided to ready for. That left dimple is the softest scar I carry. Doesn't hurt anymore, it just reminds me how beautiful uneven can be when it's real. I no longer search crowds, I let it live in the quiet corner of memory, where the light still hits at the exact angle that makes you truly smile. Thank you for the asymmetry. It taught me happiness rarely arrives perfectly balanced. Left side, always the left. I still lean that way when I laugh. Sometimes